Good morning and welcome back to We Are the South Stand. Firstly, apologies to everyone. I know we've been missing for round about, I reckon, probably about a month, 5 weeks. But it was all for the greater good, for the long-term greater good, so that we can now be back each and every day, 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. So twice a day moving forward. We will be here more than you can believe. But yeah, just needed to take some time out just to focus on myself and whatever. And here we are. And yeah, we are back and we're joined by Louis. Hopefully we're going to have a secret guest join us at some point. But we will see if he works out that I want him back or not. But yeah, it's a great weekend to come back. You know, when you go, Louis, you'll get this at some point. You have breaks from YouTube, right? And then when you come back, people are like, oh, surprise, surprise, you've turned up. So just to clear, because then it's rivals that do that, right? But
oh, what? Because say you're doing well again now?
Yeah. So the season we did the 4P, I stopped doing YouTube completely when City were in a really good place, right? We went on and did the 4P. I purposely did not come back until a couple of weeks afterwards because I thought, I know what people were going to say.
Oh, mate, I'd have been shameless. I'd have been shameless. I'd have been there with a cigar.
But yeah, which is actually the way you should do it. But if I wanted to come back at the right time, I would have come back the weekend we beat Arsenal. I would have come back. Well, there's multiple times we beat Arsenal, actually, so that could have been a few weekends. I would have come back when we beat Liverpool 4-0. There's been many times, but no, it's nothing to do with that. It's just taking time out. But we are back, and we're back after interesting weekend, so there's a lot to talk about. As well, obviously, I went down to Wembley as well, so that was great. It was nice because it hasn't just been YouTube that I've taken time out with. This season, I haven't been to many games, just ultimately because I can't afford it. But I went down to Wembley at the weekend. It was really good to catch up with everyone, see everyone. Maybe not as many familiar faces as at the Carabao Cup final if I would have gone. Maybe not as many familiar faces as there will be at the final. But still nice to see the familiar faces that were there. It was a bit of a different crowd this time. It was those that maybe can't get up to Manchester as much.
It's difficult to get down to Wembley, you know, as a Northern team, you know what I mean? Like, especially if it's a semi-final, like we're at Wembley so much. Like, I think.
Well, and the fact we were in the Carabao Cup final. So anyone from Manchester that did not go at the weekend, I completely understand it. I mean, and as someone that's pretty much now on minimum wage, I completely understand it. The cost of going to Wembley, and I can't lie. I don't know if you've seen anyone that's seen the FA Cup final tickets.
Was it really expensive?
Well, the price has gone up on last year.
No, really?
So let me.
How much is it average?
Hold on, let me just.
I was going to go with the final as well.
Yeah, bro. I'm planning on going to the final, but then I saw these prices. So Level 2, which is the top tickets, 285 or 255.
You're joking.
Category 1, 175. Category 2, 125. Category 3, 75. Category 4, 50 quid. So the 50 quid and 75s are going to be in the gods. So the
where are they though? Whereabouts?
They're going to be high up. Well, they're going to be high up. Them ones.
Oh mate,
the cheaper ones.
We went last year. Sorry, we went last year, and I'm sure it was only like 60 quid, and we had like really good seats on.
Yeah, I mean the semi-final. I was in block 114, which is mint, like behind the goal. About 16 rows back, so perfect. That was 70 quid. But the jump to the final is mad. Really is.
Why they just try and rinse people, don't they?
Yeah, and you know that if you put it into like the fact of the cost down there, the cost of drinks in Wembley and everything, especially if you're going with kids or something, it's mad.
It's costing me 100 quid to get down there, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my train from here to Manchester is usually 80 quid. But I live about 45 minutes outside of London, so to the north. So, yeah, it's going to cost you about 100 quid to get down there. Then the ticket's going to cost you probably about 100 quid. That's 200 quid straight away. Now, if you're on, that's a lot of money. Let's put it that way. But anyway, let's talk about football. Let's talk about Wembley. First of all, we've got to say, look, record breaking again. Fourth FA Cup final in a row. It's mad.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Never been done before. In a row. I believe it's 155 years. Never been done. Never been done before.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It really is. When you look at the number of times that Pep's been at Wembley. I mean, do you know what? Nico Gonzalez has been here for 16 months? And in his interview, he said, I've been to Wembley. I've been to Wembley, 3 times. And this is the first time. How's Nico Gonzalez been to Wembley 3 times?
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So yeah, it's very weird. Sorry, I'm just thinking, Pat, what does someone need to... Oh, hop in, Pat. Yeah, Pat, do you want me to send you the link? What it is I don't want... he's just sent it to me. Yeah, why not? We're going to have 2 guests by the looks of it. Just send it to you, Pat. Do you know... So when we went 1-0 down... In fact, I was aware of this before we went 1-0 down. My last couple of trips to, there's probably quite a few Blues that were in similar position to me. I've been to the last 2 finals, and we've lost the last 2 finals, right? When we went 1-0 down to Southampton, I thought, am I bad luck? Me at Wembley, is it bad luck? Because I wasn't there when we won the treble. Because I was going to Istanbul, I thought I need to pick.
Save yourself.
Yeah. Well, I had to have my daughter the weekend before we went to Istanbul because I was about to go to Istanbul for like 4 days. So I had my daughter. So I didn't go to the treble. When we went 1-0 down against Southampton, I thought, hold on, am I a bit cursed here? But what did you make of the overall game before we really break it down and go into it? What did you make of the game overall?
I think there's a lot to talk about around it, but I feel like overall it was a competitive match. I thought Southampton were very good. I thought they brought it to us. I think they played some really good football. You can see why they went on the unbeaten run that they did. But City were just a bit flat for me, especially in the first half. Second half, I think when Savinho and Doku came on, we were a lot more direct. I think they changed the game a little bit. And in the end, we got the win, and that's all that matters, isn't it? I mean, that's what champions do.
See, for me, I was disappointed with Southampton. as a neutral. If I was watching it as a neutral, I was disappointed with Southampton because I've seen them a few times this season. I've listened to them on radio, especially when I'm out and about delivering on a Saturday. I've listened to Southampton and they've played. I mean, if you look at that Arsenal game as an example, when they played Arsenal, I presume you watched that. They played far more intensity, with far more intensity. I personally feel like Southampton, and I don't just mean on the pitch, I mean on and off the pitch, were nervous. And I think they played different. I think they got, and by the way, I totally understand why. Because
they can't open themselves up fully against City, can they? You'll get
no. I mean, and that's true. Ultimately, I think there is an element we could go there nervous, but then actually also it could be because City were good, and actually even in the first half, where first half for me, bit disappointing, but. Like Pep said, when you make that many changes and you're bringing in players that are a bit rusty because they haven't played for a while, you can't expect them to play the same type of football that you've seen, our best 11 play for the last couple of games. I mean, we weren't great against Burnley. So I do understand why the changes were made as well, by the way, because you could see against Burnley, we did look a bit laboured. We looked a little bit tired. And God bless that we've got an 8 or 9 day rest now before our next game. But yeah,
if it hadn't have worked, if we'd have lost that semi-final, that would have been grounds to criticize Pep a little bit, because that amount of changes was a little bit crazy. But when we go on to win it, and he's rested players, then he's a genius, and it worked. So
yeah, and
that's fine.
See. Resting players, this is something that we'll talk about a lot more when we get to it. But once we see our I don't know if our confirmed dates of everything is out yet, but I'm pretty certain that because of the World Cup, the FA Cup final is being played earlier, which I think is really, really shit. Because I think it would be quality to get the league out of the way. And then be able to go, right, guys, to your best 11, one more game, and then everything's done. FA Cup final. But we can't now. So we're probably, I can imagine, we could end up playing an FA Cup final on a Saturday or Sunday. Saturday, I think. FA Cup finals always Saturday. So we could end up playing an FA Cup final on the Saturday, and we could end up having Bournemouth away on the Tuesday or Wednesday, right? We could end up having to rest players in the final because of Bournemouth being exactly.
We can't do that though. There's no way we can rest players in the FA Cup final.
I mean, if you end up having Bournemouth 3 days after the FA Cup final, I would understand why we might rest players.
Nah, honestly, if I saw that he not put his full strength team out in an FA Cup final, that would just be like ludicrous. I think
hear it, but
for every game between now and the end of the season, it has to be best team out. Has to be.
We'll see. Right, we've got our first guest joining us all the way from sunny Australia. Haven't spoken to him for a while. What are you saying, bro?
Hey,
you good?
Evening, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Hey, my friend.
I hope everyone's doing all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Are you good?
As good as I can be, mate.
You look well?
Yeah. It's been a good few weeks in the City universe over here, I must say. And yeah, me personally think can't complain. No one listens. You know how it is.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just to talk on that quickly, right? So I've got to call someone out, and he often does watch the show. So he might watch this, and I've got love for you, bro, but I am going to call you out, right? His name's Jay Fresh, and he messaged me on Thursday, so after the Burnley game. He said, Daps, that Semenyo ain't going to last, bro. Horrendous horrendous footballer. Now, before that, we haven't spoke about football till, Jesus Christ, since back end of last year, in fact, right?
Would have to be. Yeah.
So,
wait, what game was this after?
After the Burnley game. And he said...
he was poor against Burnley, to be fair.
No, he was. But we haven't spoke since back end of last year, properly, me and him, right? And the first thing he sent me in all these months is Daps, that's the man you ain't gonna last, bro. Horrendous footballer. So I said, what about all the positives? Why straight in with a negative, right? And it's like you've been waiting to find something in these last couple of weeks to moan about. Talking of moaners, though, we have our other guest all the way from down under. I can see him grinning backstage. I'm sure he's going to have some hot takes. We Are the South Stand can't come back without this man being on the first show back. So welcome to the moaning Uncle Alan.
Hey, Darps, how are you, pal?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I am hanging a bit today. I'm not going to lie. I'm not hanging, but I think yesterday was a day of hanging. Today's a day, you know, where your body just is feeling it and your body's like, you need
2-day recovery.
Well, my mum, and Louis, you don't know about this yet. You have no idea about this. Give you about 20 years and you'll know about it. All of a sudden, when you drink on a Friday and a Saturday, you're feeling it till about Thursday. And it's not just a hangover, it's your whole body is moving differently. And unfortunately, my mum's going away, not well, she's on the way to the airport now. So I had to go and see her at 7:30 this morning. My body needed an extra 4 hours in bed. But yeah, great weekend. I got down there, so I finished work at 7:30, 7:30, 7:45 on Friday, jumped in my motor. Beautiful journey down to London, really nice weather. Pulled into the hotel car park and it was just getting a bit dusky, and Steve was there waiting at the hotel for me to get there. He'd waited for me to get there till he went over towards Wembley to go to a pub there. And as I pulled into the hotel in a bit of a rush, I didn't see there's an island in the middle of the road and twatted my wheel on the island and popped my tyre instantly, as in like the minute.
No.
Oh, mate.
On a new car. I mean, luckily it's not the Mert no more, so the tyre costs a lot less. But twatted the tyre on the curb instantly. So I just parked it up in the hotel and said, Steve, I'm dealing with that on Sunday. I'm parking it up and I'm going to deal with it Sunday morning. For now, we went over to a place that is called the Stadium. I think it's called the Stadium Bar. On the Friday, we went for the Turkish first, then went there, and it's the maddest bar, right? So it's a bar that we had it all, City had it all weekend. The woman that's the landlady is a Portsmouth fan, so she'd said we are not having Southampton in here, and it's just this. It's got like loads of different football memorabilia in there and whatever. But then, like on a Friday night, it's a mad place because you had like your local Albanian drug dealers in there. You had, the usual pub birds that are in there every single day and are just trying to. I don't know if they're trying to score or trying to pull the Albanian drug dealers. I really don't know which one it was. Me and Steve just watching everything. You had this Indian guy that was sat in the corner drinking the same Heineken for about 3 hours, right? And just assessing the whole pub. You're
on mute, Alan.
And when the Albanians left, he moved in on the bird, just as me and Steve were leaving. So, yeah, that was that. And then on the Saturday, we got up and we headed over to the game. I saw one of the maddest beefs after the game, right? And I couldn't get my head around it. So we're walking along this street and we can hear this bit of commotion ahead of us. So sped up a bit. And as we've got closer, you can see there's this Southampton fan who I reckon was probably about, I'm going to say maximum 55, right? Had his kid with him, who was probably about 13. And all I could see is he is screaming in the face of a City fan, right? And it's like about melting point, about to go off, right? Now, the City fan, I reckon, was 65 minimum, right? And absolutely legless. You can see he's nearly falling over and whatever, right? And anyway, at this point, I can't hear exactly what's being said. He's just screaming in the city. And when I mean, when someone's face is going red, there's spit coming out of their mouth, they are about to throw a punch, yeah? And you can see everyone else, like, kind of trying to calm him down. As I get closer, and I thought, right, they must have, called each other something personal or whatever. As I got closer, I heard the Southampton fan, like someone was saying, look, you need to calm down and take your son home. And the Southampton fan goes, yeah, but he thinks that Pep couldn't do it without money. And I thought, oh shit, you are about to get in a full-on fight with a drunk City fan that's probably 20 years older than you and over Pep Guardiola. And I thought, Sal, you are rattled, mate. I don't know what you've come into this game for, but for I get if it was a United fan, maybe. For a Southampton fan to be that rattled over Pep Guardiola, yeah, I just thought, what is going on? But no, really, really, really good weekend. On the pitch, though, let's talk about the football on the pitch. Before we give praise to the players, let's talk about the first half and the team selection. Alan, Patrick, do you get why Pep rotated?
Well, Pat.
Yeah, I understand it because I don't think it's any different from previous seasons when we've been in title races. There's a top 11, albeit with maybe 2 additional players who he uses as his most versatile or his most informed, if we have to rotate when we're playing every 3 days. And then when we play cup matches, depending on the opposition, there is this sort of B team, basically, that he will play. And we've seen it before for years and years on end. They do lack a bit of a cohesion. There's sometimes it takes them a long time to get into the game. And that's no different to any other sort of cup rounds, in previous years where we've had to do that sort of thing before. So when I saw the lineup, I was expecting it. But also saying that too, I certainly wasn't expecting the first half performance from those players either. Just shows how some of them are certainly lacking a bit of form at the moment, and obviously not playing, on regular certainly is going to affect that as well too. Saying that though, I was kind of glad that that squad was at least able to hold their own for as long as they could before, we actually got some players in there that could actually put, affect the game a bit more. So I think when you look at it, if you want to be critical of the lineup, I think Pep's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't anyway, because for all he wanted to, he could have put the same lineup that we've had in the Carabao Cup or Arsenal, Liverpool. And the thing is that if that lineup doesn't bag 2 or 3 goals in the first half or the first 60 minutes, then we're going to be having these same discussions anyway as the lineup that he put on the field on Saturday anyway. So the way I see it, it's whatever's most effective. Sometimes you got to go about it different ways, and it's subjective to how everybody looks at it. But yeah, look, the only for me personally, the only player who can really probably hold their hand up and say I actually performed really well is a player who's barely played 45 minutes of football this season. That was Mateo Kovacic.
Oh,
Kovacic.
Right.
Kovacic looked like he
first half.
Yeah.
You mean in the first half?
Yeah, first half. I think he was. I think he was very, very good.
He came off in the second half, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean that makes sense because he's been out for a year. Literally, he's been out for a year.
He's only played 46 minutes of football before the weekend.
I completely forgot what Kovacic was capable of, mate. When he gets the ball at his feet and he has to, his dribbling ability is actually crazy. He could, I would not, I'd be totally happy for him to come on as a sub or even start in some of these games from now to the end of the season. I really think I mean, maybe that would be a little bit naive considering he's not played much football, but honestly, I think he's so good that he really shocked me when he came out with that performance. It was really good.
Do you know what? The thing is that it's almost like one of those performances that, and I agree, at halftime I was saying to everyone, the best player on the pitch in the first half for me was Kovacic. But that's because Kovacic is an experienced player. Kovacic, he's been there, done that before City, by the way, as well. He's been at Real Madrid. He's been at Chelsea. He's won a Champions League. He's been part of one of the most underrated midfields at international level.
He's won 5 Champions Leagues.
5 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, 5 is mental.
The fact when you look at, he plays in midfield with, Modric. He's been playing in midfield with Modric and what's his name?
Modric and Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah, and well,
Toni
and
Kroos, yeah.
then at international level, Modric and is it Rakitic? Was it Rakitic?
Rakitic as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rakitic. Yeah. So he's a quality midfielder. It's funny. Someone said to me a couple of weeks ago that they still think that Kovacic is going to play a part in City's end of the season. I think, sorry, they're probably right. They probably are right that Kovacic, he's that experienced that.
Yeah.
If we're 2-0 up in games in the next 5 games, Kovacic is perfect to bring on to give Rodri a rest. So
I must admit, but when I saw the lineup and 8 changes, I thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
I thought, shit, it's too many. That's my first reaction. I thought it's too many at one go.
Yeah.
Because the way we started the second half, apart from Kovacic, I thought was class, absolute class in the first half. I thought we really struggled first half, and I thought Southampton were.
Do you think we struggled?
I'd say we did.
I think we struggled. I think because Mamouche has to play a false 9 type role. I think when we did get the ball in attacking areas, we've got no one making a run into the centre of the box at all.
Well, and the fact that O'Reilly wasn't on the pitch as well, also, who would do that if Haaland isn't? And maybe Reinders should have been, but because
Reinders is normally doing that, isn't he?
And if you look at it with Gonzalez and Kovacic on the pitch, that should give Reinders the freedom to play in a more advanced role. So
I thought that we didn't look a threat going forward at times. We kept possession all right, but we didn't really cause a threat to anybody.
I mean,
until he made the changes.
Right, let's not talk about that yet because we're going to go into the second half separately. I feel like struggled in the first half is when you say struggled, I wanted to follow on with struggled with what? Because as an example, one thing I really noticed in the first half, and luckily in the second half, because we were because we were camped in their half for most of the second half, we didn't see it as much. But in the first half, you could see it's strange because in recent games, the last 4 or 5 games, with Kuzanov, Nunes, Gahey, and what's his name on the left, O'Reilly on the left, we've all of a sudden been a defence with a lot of pace. Right?
Yeah.
At the weekend with Ake and Stones in the middle, I think Ake and Stones both had quite good games overall. If you look at the full 90 minutes, I think they both had pretty good games. And oddly, they're 2 quality players who have so much experience. And by the way, in that second half in particular, I don't think we lost a header. I honestly do not think we lost a header. They were winning everything. Every time Southampton tried to go long, Ake or John Stones were winning the ball in headers. And that was pivotal to where we could then recycle and go again, because Ake and John Stones were winning every time they tried to go long. But in the first half, they did have a bit of success going long. And then you could see Ake and John Stones' legs were gone a little bit.
You know what I would say about that. You know what I would say about that first half. Maybe struggled is a little bit strong, but it was definitely competitive.
It was laboured.
I thought they really matched us. Even they were creating very good chances, and I thought we were actually quite lucky at that. Mate, they scored they scored a goal. It just was offside, but they
had very narrow in the middle, and it forced us to go wide, and we just seemed to slow the tempo the wider we got.
I think Pep said it spot on that that with the players we had playing in the first half, it's almost like when the ball went out wide, and you could also say maybe Aït-Nouri and Nunes weren't kind of overlapping enough. But then if Aït-Nouri and Nunes did overlap and went too far forward, we would have been way too vulnerable at the back for counterattacks, because that's all our pace further up the pitch. I just think, for me, Steve at half-time looked so frustrated. And we were like, I haven't seen you this frustrated for a while. He said, and this is to anyone watching this, and I said, I might be one of them, Steve, I can't lie. He said, to anyone that said Marmoush should be starting over Haaland earlier in the season, give your fucking head a wobble after that first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll be surprised that I'll be surprised if he's there next season, Mamouche.
Yes,
I think I was saying that at one point, but Marmoush. You know what? It's frustrating because he gets himself into really good positions, but he can't finish his dinner. He just can't. It's honestly, that's the annoying thing about it though, because he runs that defense ragged, like because he's so quick and he's changing positions all the time. He's all over the place on that front line, and he is quick. You know, he gets into the good positions, and then as soon as the ball's at his feet, it's like he just crumbles under the pressure.
But he's a sort of player. He was a sort of player that needs to play every week, mate, because he's not playing every week. He struggles. He really does struggle, and he will find a top 8 team next year and be good and be useful. He needs to move. He needs to move.
I think if Barcelona can find the money, I think that'd be suitable for him. You know, with the fact that it doesn't look like Barcelona don't want to take Rashford on, and Lewandowski's on his way out as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really agree with Alan that I don't think that Marmoush is a bad player. Okay,
no, he's not.
I think we've seen enough Marmoush goals over the last 16 months we've had him, 17 months we've had him, to know that Marmoush can strike a ball well, and Marmoush can be a goal scorer. Whether you look at City or whether you look at where did he come from?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Thank you, Frankfurt. Yeah, he can score goals, but if you look at this season, it's got to a point where his confidence is a bit low, and sadly, we've got Erling Haaland. You're never going to be a starter because we've seen Marmoush out wide as well. For me, it doesn't work at all with Marmoush out wide. So I think Marmoush is one for me that I would totally understand if he goes in the summer. Do you
think he could stay in the Prem?
Yeah, he could probably. I think Marmoush could be a success. He just has to play regular football.
I imagine he went to Arsenal. I could so see that happening.
Nah, City wouldn't sell to Arsenal.
Nah, they wouldn't now, but I mean, like, that'd be such an Arsenal signing.
Yeah.
But
got someone else.
I will say
someone else joining us just quickly. In fact, go on, Alan. Say what you want to say. Then I'm going to get him in. I
just feel when I saw the team, it reminded me of the Leverkusen game where too many came in at once. They haven't played together, and it also confirmed. It also confirmed to me, outside our top 13 players, the rest of the squad's not that good a quality.
I think, Bo, I can't lie to you. I'm not going to disagree with you, and I think that's one of the key things with where Pep has nailed in his best 11. Now, I would say maybe it's a few more than 13 because I think
that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I think for me, I think
they need to do it. They don't do it.
So if you were to get our best 11, and let's park up our best 11. Our best 11 is the team that started against. In fact, before we get into this, let's hold this.
It's basically the lineup that's been fixed since the Carabao Cup final.
That's the best 11. But
that's
then
like a core 11, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you would say, that's 11 players. Trafford, 12 players. Ruben Diaz, 13 players. Vardiol, 14 players. For me, Ait-Nouri, good enough, 15 players.
I'd include Kovacic in there after that performance.
Kovacic is an interesting one because he's a good. I think the biggest issue is, and we've seen this a few times over the years, and we've seen it this season against Bayer Leverkusen, is the problem is when you make more than 3-4 changes. The minute it becomes, you're putting all these players there, and it makes sense. Instead of it being your best 8 players and then 3, backup players, if it's 8 backup players and 3 first team players, then you can't really expect them to gel because they've hardly played with each other. So
also,
we do have another guest joining us. Hasn't been on the channel for quite some time, but still doing his regular content with Mancunian Way and, of course, on Instagram and TikTok. It's Tone.
Hi, lads. Right?
Tone,
My God.
Tone, are you from Southampton? Where do you live? It's that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I live that way.
Yeah.
I'm not from Southampton.
Ah, right,
Apparently,
right.
I'm a Saints fan, but I'm not. Apparently so.
Oh, you're a Saints fan? What?
No. People say. I'm
People
a
say that.
Saints
That's right. I get Chelsea all the time, mate. I get Chelsea all the time. In fact, just a real quick, another DAP
Don't
story
we all get
yesterday.
Chelsea all the time?
So basically,
Yeah.
as we so yesterday, I was travelling back from Wembley, and I stopped at London Gateway Services, and obviously this was about midday, so it was full of Leeds, and there was some Chelsea. Anyway, I'm walking in into London Gateway, and there's loads of Leeds all around me, and coming out were two Chelsea fans. And as they came out, I go, "Morning, boys." I go, "You going to score today?" Because obviously they haven't scored in 5 games up until yesterday. And all the Leeds fans started chuckling to themselves. And the Chelsea fans go to me, go, "Mate, not being funny, but you haven't even avoided relegation yet. You're lucky to be at a semi-final." They thought I was Leeds, right? I had City shorts on, and I go, "Wrong team, buddy," and pointed at my badge. And they looked down and go, "Oh, for fuck's sake," and just bopped off. But then the other thing, there was because Arsenal women were playing yesterday, so the service station was full of Arsenal fans as well. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear all the Leeds fans start off with "Second again, ole ole." And I think even the fucking Leeds fans are giving it to them. But right, no, let's what were we going to talk about just then? Right, so first half, I want to talk about a player, and I think if we don't talk about this player today, then it's not fair. We have to talk about it. Phil Foden.
It's a conversation nobody wants to have.
It's a conversation no one wants to have. Now, I'm going to say something. It's the great thing is when you go to games and you're around people and other City fans, especially City fans from Manchester, you hear a lot. And you hear a lot of bits of information. Obviously, there's rumour mills and some information's true, some isn't. I'm not saying this is definitely true. But can you remember a game I'm going to say about 5 weeks ago, I reckon it was, where Foden got subbed off and he went straight down the tunnel?
Yeah.
I can't remember what game it was, but
Not
it
exactly.
happened. I remember it happening. He went straight down the tunnel. And Marmoush got subbed on for Foden. Now, apparently, after the game, Pep went to Foden and said to Foden, "Do you have a problem with Marmoush?" He didn't shake his hand. And Foden said to Pep, "No, I haven't got a problem with Marmoush. I've got a problem with you." And on the Monday in training, Pep had Foden in his office for about an hour. Well, and I would imagine at some point, Pep has probably said to him, "Look, I've given you more chances than anyone else with. This football club has given you more chances than anyone else has. We stick with you through and through because you mean a lot to us. Don't ever throw that back in my face. Don't ever, ever speak to me the way you did." And I would agree with it because Pep has constantly come out defending Foden. Yesterday, I heard the post-match game and he got asked about him and he said, "Look, he's going to need time, but he will be back to his best." And they said, "Are you confident he will get back to his best?" And Pep said, "Absolutely." Right? But when you are being subbed off in the 55th minute of an FA Cup final because we're failing to create much, you got to be worried, right?
Can I say
Where
something?
is everyone with Phil?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah? Go on
Go
now.
on, Alan.
Go on now.
This is his second year of very, very poor season for him. He started off the season quite well.
Yeah.
His first 5 games, which he did.
Yep.
And I'll hold my hands up there. But since then, he's been walking around with a face like a smacked arse, sulking, with his bottom lip dragging on the floor and not performing. Now, this lad has the ability to be unbelievably brilliant. Okay, we've all seen it. Okay, but if he's not performing on the money he's on, game in, game out, that's what we've got to think about. It's a business.
Yeah.
If he's
Well,
not performing,
ultimately, for me, because he is at a stage where I think it is contract negotiations, and at the moment, I'd struggle
he doesn't hold the
to.
cards. He doesn't hold the
I would.
cards.
No. So I'd still give Foden a contract, 100%. Listen, you don't want Foden going on a free because he's even in the form he's in. He's still going to bring in money, right? I don't want Foden to go. I want Foden to be a success at City, but I would struggle to justify giving him a pay rise at this point, right?
Oh, mate, you can't get a pay rise. You need to.
I mean, the most you should get is I want to say the move with inflation, and maybe it's about like a little 2.5% or something, right? But I don't know if inflation matters on football wages.
Mate, inflation does not. It doesn't matter.
I will say this. I don't want Foden to go, but I think one thing that will save him if they've got thinking about getting shut of him, right, is that the English quota is a big factor for next season. So I think that will save him. That's why I'll get an extension. But I'll be honest with you, the club should be turning around and say, if you don't perform at the first half of next season, you're gone.
Yeah, I think next season's absolutely, because it's kind of like this is his second season. And look,
we can't
we have to assess Phil Foden on his whole career, right? As in overall, that if we're talking about Phil Foden and his levels, you can't go, he had one good year. He didn't. Up until he had one amazing year. He had 1 year that won him Player of the Season, rightly so, because that season without Phil Foden, we do not win the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
That is the difference, by the way. For anyone that does the Saka and Foden comparisons, there's one thing that is key. And even if Arsenal were to win this league this season, or if Arsenal were to win the Champions League this season, then the one thing you can't do is go, oh, well, Saka deserves. No, he doesn't, because in the season that Arsenal might win a trophy, Saka has not been there for them, right? The one thing you can say with Phil Foden is when it's mattered, Phil Foden has stepped up for us in the past, right? Now, but we're nearly 2 seasons in of a poor Phil Foden. If we had Phil Foden at 3/4 of the Phil Foden that we've seen, we would have won the league by now, by the way. That's the type of difference you're talking about. If Phil Foden was playing to the best of his ability, Manchester City have wrapped the league up already, right? His goals would have been the difference against Chelsea or against Sunderland or against West Ham or against one of the many teams we've drawn against this season. Phil Foden could have been the difference, but he hasn't. I am, and I've said this openly to people at games as well, for me with Phil Foden, I am one more season. And if not, for the good of Phil Foden and for the good of Manchester City, it might be time for him to go abroad.
I think it'd be amazing.
It would. Sorry, it would be abroad as well. That's his only move. But I will just add here, just before Christmas, there was talk, and this was in the Simon What's-His-Face from the MEN and all them lot, that there was a sort of agreement between the camps that, contract will get sorted. No worries. No, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And then apparently there was nothing up until March, and that comes from Foden's people, that there's just been nothing, no talk of this contract. Now,
there's Foden stalling?
It could be all City is stalling because of the form, which would make. I think it's probably more City, but I think he'll extend. There's no way they can increase his wage, but if he's getting one more season, they need to extend him. Like you say, we don't want him going out on a free. But there's some talk that Bayern are having a little look at him, which could be a good move for him. There's some talk with Bayern.
Could be a great move for him, you know. Do you know what? Bayern's really not a bad shout at all. I mean, Germany, the German league seems to suit English players when they go there. They seem.
Does he get into the Bayern squad though?
Well,
It's a good question.
It's a very good question. I think you look at Elise. Obviously, he's got that side nailed down. Luis Diaz has got the other side nailed down. Musiala's been out most of the season, but now he's back.
He'll be coming back.
But then, I don't know, would you... I mean, for me, I still think Foden in a deeper role, I'm not mad at it, right? I think Foden, there's an interesting thing with Foden. I think there's value in having him deeper, in that he definitely helps to move the ball forward when he plays in a deeper role. right? He definitely can play line-breaking passes. But I don't, and I never have rated Phil Foden defensively. I think he's come to a City team that has had so much of the ball, and the best form of defence is keeping the ball, that when we don't have the ball, sometimes I think Phil Foden doesn't necessarily know exactly what his role is. I think he's great at pressing from the front, but when it's going backwards to defend, I don't think that's Phil Foden's strong point. And I've seen it for England as well, because again, completely different role for England, especially under Southgate, when it was whereas with City, it's keep the ball, don't give the ball away, and then we don't have to defend much. With England, it's score one goal and put 10 men behind the ball. And then all of a sudden, that's not how Foden is used to playing. But I don't know. The only other thing, and then the thing I would say is that Foden, of course, when he's in the 10 role, he can be a game changer. But I think the importance to Foden in the 10 role is having Rodri feeding him the ball quickly, right? You can't have the slow build-up with Phil Foden in the 10, because the slow build-up allows players to get behind the ball, and then all of a sudden Foden is being closed down. The minute Foden scores one of those goals on the half-turn in the 10 role, all of a sudden other teams are onto him going, right, we need to close this fucker down as quickly as possible, or he's going to put it top bins.
Yeah.
I want to...
Yeah, you go.
I want to know what the problem is with Foden, because I feel like his game and the ability he has isn't something that just goes with. I mean, he's not even. I don't understand where it's gone. Is it that his head's elsewhere and he's got stuff going on at home? Confidence.
He said mental health. He has said mental health before. I think his confidence as well, and I think sadly that when people. Right, you can't play a player back into form when you're trying to win a league, right? It's as simple as that. And it was always going to happen this season, that if it got to around February, March time, where Pep is trying to nail on what his best 11 is, you can't go, right, do you know what, we're just going to keep playing Phil and hope that his form comes good. Not when you're trying to win a domestic treble, not when you're trying to win a league, not when you're trying to win trophies. You can't play players back into form. The only way you can do it is giving them 30 minutes here and there.
Yeah. You can't do it this crucial part of the season.
No, you can't. Go on, Al.
And Daps, just to say, just quick, just to say, we're at the crucial part now, and if you're looking at players on form, and this is how mad this is, the squad of 20, there are question marks whether Foden is even going to get in that 20 based on form. I love Foden. I would keep him, extend him. But seriously, it is getting to the point now where when this squad is fit, there's serious questions if he's in that squad, in my view.
I completely don't disagree with you, because... And then we go to what happened at the weekend, that where he was played, right? And that becomes an issue, because and Pep said it himself, that at the weekend we have Foden and who was our other winger in the first half? Cherky, I guess.
Cherky.
Right? And when the ball got out wide, it was like you've got two players that have the most potential to influence the game playing in positions that are not their best positions, right? And like Pep said, Foden, he kept the ball well, made a few intelligent passes, but Foden's not going to impact the game in that position anymore. And that's the thing. I think another one that's probably becoming a bit of that as well, and we'll talk on it now, is Semenyo. That Semenyo, look, I don't want to knock Semenyo, because he's come in, he's bagged, right? He's scored some important goals. Steve did say he's going to take it, and Polpy also said, I believe, it's going to take him a while to settle into the City system. Now, the interesting one for me is... on the, Semenyo plays on the right hand side. I don't think he's impacting games there either. I do think that's a bit of a situation. It's almost like he's there just to hold the width.
I just think he's going through a bit of a dry spell.
Let's be clear. Semenyo is not a technically gifted footballer, right? Yeah. There's players that are better, right? There's players that are better. I think Savio is a better footballer than Semenyo. Yeah, but I think that Semenyo is far more clinical than Savio, right? And that's... But it's such an interesting one. We want perfection. We have Mahrez, right? You can say, oh, Semenyo technically is not an amazing footballer, but Savio is technically a great footballer, but he doesn't get the numbers. Semenyo gets the numbers. So what do you want? Do you want both? Yeah, because we used to have both. There's not many wingers out there that do both. And then we move on to one, and we have to speak on this player because I think Savio is good, but there's a play we need to talk on, and Alan, you're going to have an opinion. Go on before we move on.
Let me just finish what I've got to say. I think with the Foden scenario, at this stage of the season we can't carry players, and we're carrying Foden, right? So that's first things first. I just think that if you're looking at Semenyo's first touches, it's like hitting a fucking elephant. His first touch is terrible. I think that's the area where he needs to improve. I think if you're looking at the weaknesses of the whole team needs to improve, in my opinion, is that the wider areas we don't score enough goals.
Yeah,
we don't score enough goals. To me, if you're playing in them wider areas when you've got a Haaland up front, up there, or a false nine, they need to be scoring at least 10 goals each, both sides. That should be the target. That should be the targets.
So I just want to quickly, this is really interesting. So this comment here, I just checked Foden played 15 games of 90 minutes in a row while playing in the deeper role and was our second top scorer.
He still is our second top scorer in the league.
Yeah, when Doku but all those goals came from probably that 15 game run, right?
Let's say so, yeah.
When Doku got injured, was moved to left wing, and his season was over from there. And this is a sad. What I think a key to Foden, like I said, we can't play him into form now. I'm not talking this season, and this is when he goes to another club. Is what his best position is needs to be nailed down, and they need to stick to it. They need to stop swapping and changing Phil Foden's position, because I think that will start to help. Now, also, just wanted to say a massive shout out to Piplup, who's saying, Daps, you're alive. I'm alive. I'm very well. I've just been. Do you know what it is, people? I'm 43, right? And when I started working at Royal Mail, I went from last year, I was a lazy shit. I got made redundant and I had 7 months of doing pretty much fuck all apart from content, right? And so I was averaging probably about 3,500 steps a day. I've now gone to a job where I'm working from midday till 8 p.m. and I'm doing probably between 15 and 18,000 steps a day, while also having to mentally be switched on to make sure you put letters through the right doors and all of that stuff, yeah, and make sure that you're parking in the right place. Otherwise, you get fines like I picked up in my first couple of weeks for parking on zigzags and all sorts. So you have to be mentally switched on. And it's tiring. I'm 43. I get home from work and I'm tired. I wake up the next morning and I don't end up not waking up till about 11. And I'm not drinking or nothing like that during, I'm just tired. So that's what it was. I've been good. I don't want people to start thinking that, oh, Daps, was everything okay? I've been in a good place. Shit, I've just done something weird with StreamYard here. What have I done here? So I've just zoomed out. How do I zoom in? Sorry, bear with me, people. Please make sure you smash the like button. I've zoomed out.
I don't know what the answer is with Foden. I'll be honest with you.
No,
I think Italy could be a good move for him. I feel like because he's been at City for so long and he stayed around he stayed around the same place for so long. Maybe it's just a little bit of burnout and he's just reached a bit of a limit. I feel like
I don't think we can get confidence. I don't think we can get rid of him because of the Guinness quota thing. With the players that we're looking at moving on, the lot of them are homegrown, like Stones, Ake, Foden. I don't think
you're right. Yeah. I don't think we necessarily. But you just put Ake there, by the way. Ake's got a year left on his contract, I believe. I think Ake will stay one more season. I can't lie to you. I think
if City get the right amount, because they're looking upwards of 20 million to try and sell him, get it 20 million for him. I think they'll take it.
If we got money, but you look at this season, and fair play to Ake, by the way, because he had the Dutch manager coming out and saying, look, if he's not playing regularly, he's not going to come to the World Cup with me. Ake I'm pretty certain, turned down a
Quality.
few offers,
Quality.
right? And said, I want to stay at Manchester City. And I can't lie, Ake this season has been important at times. He's come in and he's put in shifts. He's put in shifts.
Vastly underrated.
He was very good in the cup final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ake and John Stones in that second half, right? They won. I swear they won every single header. Every time Southampton tried to go long, they fucking recycled the ball and it started again. And that was because Ake and John Stones were absolutely quality at winning that ball back. And it started from there. Now, second half, we saw a lot of changes. Savio, like I said, I think Savio came on and I think Savio was good. Still the same frustrations. Always one touch too many for me. I saw it against Burnley as well. It's always one touch too many. He needs to believe in himself a little bit more.
I think his recent cameos when he's come on have been a lot better than when Pep was starting him games at times and stuff like that. I feel like he has a little bit more confidence about him now. Like as soon as he gets the ball, he's driving at players.
I think it is confidence. He just needs to. Like, again, Burnley, there was a chance he just needed to hit snapshot. One touch and the player's going to close you down, right? He just needs to have a snapshot. He always takes one touch too many for me.
Just on that, okay, I think he needs to realise his own limitations. I think he's got it good at City. He can't play every week. He can't do 90 minutes. Pep says 3 times a week. He can't do it twice because he'll break down. And at City, I think he's got it good. He comes in for cup finals, cup games. You know, he's a player who's good enough to start. If he's fully fit all the time, has a great fitness record, he starts bloody every game for pretty much every Premier League team. But his limitation is he gets injured. Ake,
yeah. I mean,
sorry.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree.
There's a shout that Nathan Ake has been our most consistent footballer since we signed him.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's basically missed a 7 out of 10. He never. I reckon for every 50 games he plays, only has one bad performance for every 50 games he's played since he came to us.
Yeah.
Mr. Consistent, always above average, and always puts in a good shift.
Yeah.
Always.
Like Kovacic, good for the squad.
Yeah, like Kovacic. I think both of them have been quality. Servants to the club. I mean, I'm always going to say it. Nathan Ake for me, up until maybe this season with Nico O'Reilly, he's been pretty damn good. I think Ake treble season is probably the best left back I've seen at Manchester City in the treble season. And I will always say
to people, player of the season that season.
How mad is that?
Because
no one could get past him that season.
The mad thing is, right, that it's very easy when you look at City's treble season to talk about players in the last, 10 weeks of the season, yeah? Go and look at Ake all damn season, the whole season, because at times, at times that season, some players really weren't there. From the minute one of that season, Ake was absolutely phenomenal. I thought it's quality, but we need to move on. People, there's 145 people in it, which for a first show back after about 6 weeks is phenomenal. So thank you, every single one of you. Could I please ask you all to make sure you hit that like button? The like button is going to help to bring this channel back to where it should be. So please, can I ask that you smash the like button? And just to let you know, we will be here every single morning at 10:30 a.m. and we will be here at 9 p.m. Every single day. So every day, 10:30 a.m., 9 p.m. Right, there's a player that we need to talk about, though, because I think this season for me, personally, he will be in one of my nominations for Player of the Season. I think players have been better than him. I do think Nico O'Reilly probably would pip it for me. I think Cherki's probably would pip it for me. But I think this player's been absolutely phenomenal. And Pep's starting to give him some real flowers. He's been frustrating over the last couple of years. Alan, I think this legendary clip.
Fabio, shit. Doku, shit.
But let me just play this real quick. I found this, and shout out to Goat V, who created this. But I'm just going to play a clip of it. Go and watch the full video on his channel. It's about 15 minutes long about this player. But
take a look at this. Jérémy Doku terrorises defences better than almost anyone in Europe, and the numbers back it up. First in successful dribbles, first in offensive duels won, first in progressive carries, first in dribbles per 100 touches, first in ball carrying frequency, first in successful attacking actions, first in total duels won, first in touches inside the box, first in progressive actions, first in progressive action rate, first in progressive pass accuracy, highest across all players in Europe's top 5 leagues. Right now, Doku leads the Premier League in dribbles, creates more dangerous attacks than Bruno Fernandes, and Pep Guardiola himself has called him unstoppable. And when you understand...
I can't lie, when you hear that, because Louis, you posted the thing the other day and you gave a few of his stats, right? But when I start hearing about progressive passing, when I start hearing about more being involved in, more than Bruno Fernandes, I'm sorry, if I am that Southampton fullback at the weekend, I'm saying, do you know what? I don't know if I want to be promoted, right?
Mate, I was saying this when he saw Doku
fucking do, bro.
When he saw Doku coming on, he must have been crapping himself.
I don't think
Doku's our top assister now. After the Southampton match, he's our top assister in all competitions.
Yeah.
14 assists, by the way. People say he doesn't contribute enough.
Well, I can't remember who it was to. There's one pass he played in that game, and it was a little kind of toe poke through the middle, right? It was put.
I think it was Marmouche. I think it was
Marmouche. But that pass, there's been more of that this season. There's been Doku passes this season that I didn't know he had it in him, right? That the guy can pass a fucking ball. Now, whether he goes on the outside or the inside, he wins, right? I've never, and listen, I am old enough, and I was privileged to be at Main Road to see Georgie Kincadze play football, right? This guy fucking does not lose a duel. It's mad. It is absolutely insane. And one thing I've got to say about this as well, however much at times, yes, his final ball sometimes can be frustrating. It's definitely
sometimes.
Yes, sometimes, Alan, because it's not always.
Alan, it's not that much.
It's not that often. Right? What else we've seen this season? What else we've seen with Doku this season, right?
Narrative that every time he gets on the ball, he's hopeless, and every ball he plays is going out, and he's this headless chicken. Donkey.
No, disclaimer, those of you new to the show, please understand that nobody is immune from criticism when Alan's a pundit.
When he goes on the outside, he passes to the opposition. When he moves inside, shut up. When he goes inside, he does something. He's decent.
Nah, but when he goes on the outside as
Bullshit.
well.
Maybe 2 seasons ago, Alan. Not anymore.
Bullshit.
But there's other things. But hold on, there's other things I can say about him, right? I can say that in some of our most important games this season, right, Doku's defensive contribution and ball carrying and taking the pressure off that defense has been absolutely phenomenal. Against, I think, Arsenal earlier on in the season, the way he kept picking up the ball from deep and driving the ball forward and winning us fouls, and that's not been spoke about enough. Doku at this
he's not scared to take anyone on.
No,
you know what else?
And he shouldn't. You know
what else as well, right? Nico Riley. All credit to him. He's amazing. I absolutely love him. He's class. He's been one of the biggest parts of the City's team this season. Any success we have, he's going to have been a huge part of it. But Jérémy Doku gives him so much freedom on that left-hand side because every single time he has to be doubled up on. He's one of the only wingers in the world that is doubled up on the way he is. And that gives Nico Riley the freedom to do what he has to do.
Spot on. And that is exactly what I was going to come to. That even if you have a frustration with some of Doku's final balls, that the space for other players would not be there if it wasn't the fact that Doku is drawing 2-3 men at times out of position. And this is a problem. I said about it last season, one of the biggest issues we had is that we did not have enough runners, right? And we didn't have enough attention seekers that mean that players have to mark them. Now, if you go back to prime Manchester City, let's talk Centurions for a second, right? You had to mark Sergio Aguero, right? You had to keep an eye on David Silva. You had to keep an eye on Kevin De Bruyne. Then you had fucking Gundogan floating about.
Leroy Sané.
Leroy Sané floating about. Sterling. All these players making runs. And all of a sudden, the defence do not have enough players to defend the way they want to play against these players. Now, Doku is doing exactly that. He is drawing players out. And Nico O'Reilly is benefiting because what's happening, and it's so mad that we thought Reinders, and we probably need to speak on Reinders actually as well. We thought that Reinders was going to be our Gundogan replacer, our box crasher, right? It hasn't quite worked out so far. Look, give him another season. I think he was all right I think he was quite good in the cup. But what Pep has found is a box crasher that is a left back, right? And this is a problem that because of the fact that defenders on the right side are having to double up on Doku, that Nico O'Reilly is sneaking into the box and playing as a box crasher now.
That's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is a new version of Gundogan.
Yeah, but as a left back,
in terms of his arrival in the box.
Yeah,
I never thought of that comparison. That's a very good comparison.
Question for you guys: where would you play Nico O'Reilly next year? Left back or midfield?
Left back.
Left back.
I don't think we need to change it. I think he does. I think we get the best out of him at left back at the moment.
Exactly, Lou. I think what you're saying now with that left-sided link-up now between him and Doku is a much more athletic, much more rapid, much more high-tempo, basically high-tempo version of what we saw in the treble season with Ake and Jack Grealish. That was all about control, and that was about wearing teams down. What you're saying now is you're saying a similar thing to that, where they're not treading on each other's toes, because that was the thing. Yeah. That was the thing that used to kill us when we used to see Cancelo link up with Grealish. They were treading on each other's toes all the time because they wanted to be in the same positions to attack or to receive the ball. Once we got Nathan Ake in there, he understood his position in play. He was able to link up really well with Grealish. What we're seeing now with O'Reilly and with Doku is, yes, they're both as rapid as each other. They both want to get on the front foot. They both want to attack as much as they can down that left flank. But they also know where they need to be or where not to be when each other has the ball or is in possession in certain parts of the field.
Yeah, I think.
Go on.
I was going to say, I think the fact they're getting Anderson in perhaps points to that he probably will be left back. And just quick on Doku, really quick. He's 23 years old. He's not the finished product. My God, he's probably the most exciting player in the squad we've got. His ability is. What's it called? You know, the top level he can get out. His ceiling is as high as anybody in the Premier League. Doku,
he's on 5 goals, 14 assists in all competitions. I think if we look at by the end of next season, and let's say that's gone to 10 goals, 14 assists, or 10 goals, 15 assists, then we know that his projected figures, his figures are definitely on the way up.
Yeah,
just needs to be a little bit more
critical. Question.
Just a bit more critical.
I was having this debate on Saturday, right? And it moves us on. It moves us on a little bit to the defence, right? So sterling performances from Ake and John Stones. Both of them, by the way. I think both of them were really, really, really good. I think first half, because of the fact that, you know, neither of them have pace together in the Premier League, you can't play Ake and Stones anymore. Not week in, week out. You can play them alongside a different defender, but you can't play them together because of the pace situation. Now, for me at the moment, I think that Kuznov and Gahey, rightfully so, have nailed on that for the remainder of this season, they will be our centre-back partnership, right? And rightly so. I think Gahey has impressed me more than I ever knew.
He's quality, absolute quality, Gahey.
And for me, it's when he steps forward, some of the passes I've seen him play, I never knew he had it in him, right? That Gahey on the ball is absolutely phenomenal. And also, he's very cool, very calm, very composed, doesn't seem to get overexcited about anything. Perfect qualities for a defender. Kuznov, for me, is just... I knew it from the minute we signed him. This guy's ceiling, like Tone said about Doku, you look at Kuznov, his ceiling is insanely fucking high. Now, the other thing is, I just want to play this really, really quickly on Kuznov because, you know, what we've seen of Kuznov when he first got here is someone that is very straight-faced, give a cheeky little smile here and there, but seemed almost like a little bit nervous. And maybe, you know what, he's a young kid. He's in a country where he didn't speak a language, right? Him and Donnarumma, the fact that their little bromance that's going on, it shows that he's growing as a man as well. He's becoming confident in his ability. Look at this, bro. Have you seen what he was? But he's still showing he's a. What? But it's showing he's
They do things
becoming
differently in Uzbekistan.
he's becoming confident, and he's becoming part of a squad, right? That he now feels confident, and he feels like he's not shy. Someone said it. There you go. He's not a shy guy anymore. That he's starting to believe, he's starting to know who he is, and the fact that he's got that bromance with Donnarumma. Right, you don't get a bromance with a goalkeeper like Donnarumma that's been there, done that, wore the t-shirt, right? Unless he rates you as a player, right? And that's something I've seen this season, even with Rodri, in the way Rodri and Haaland talk about Nico O'Reilly, right? That you can see these experienced players that have been there, done that, wore the t-shirt, and played with Kevin De Bruyne, played with David Silva, played with Vincent Kompany, played with all legends of the game. And same with Donnarumma, you could talk about the players he's with. When you see them accepting players, it's not just because they like them as a person. It's because they know, I trust these players on the pitch. Now, as a great example, look at the relationship between Virgil van Dijk and fucking Kerkez, yeah? Look at the way Virgil van Dijk looks at Kerkez. He looks at Kerkez like, I am ashamed to be in the same fucking squad as you. I can't trust you one single bit, and you proved it to me week in, week out this season, right? You look at the way our players look at Cherki, our players look at, our experienced players, the relationship with Kuznov, the Nico O'Reilly. It is an acceptance into the Manchester City squad that you as a footballer, not just you a nice person, I can trust you and I can go to war with you. Now, this is where I think it becomes difficult. Ruben Diaz next season, he has to try and find his way back into this squad, right? And I say he has to try and find his way back into this squad. But the other one is Vardiol, right? Now, let's be clear. However much we love Kuznov, however much we rate Kuznov, and the same with Alan, what are you fucking up to?
we said in
Alan's being ridiculous. Alan's just being silly, bro. Come on, Alan. Stop it, man.
We've been sending text messages for days, disagreeing on a few things. That's why
he's just trying to wound me up. Sorry about that.
Alan,
carry on, mate. Just ignore.
I just told him to get a pink headband.
Behave.
Come on, Alan.
Behave, Alan. No, but with Vardiol, if we look at Kuznov, we look at O'Reilly on the left, we look at and we look at even Gahey. We have to remember Vardiol and our what's it called? Our chairman said it before, that this player will be a world-class centre-back, right? We all know it. Vardiol, for me, he's still our best defender. Vardiol is a phenom for me. Now, when Vardiol comes back, how do we play? Who? And this is the thing with Vardiol is the interesting thing. Is he a centre-back or is he a left-back? Do we,
I wouldn't be surprised if he took Kuznov out of the team still just for a little bit, and
I don't think he can.
Maybe rotated them a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. To be honest, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I personally wouldn't, but I could see Pep doing that, and I don't know. I've said it for when Guehi came in. I said, like, how are we gonna set up next season with the two centre backs? Because I don't know. I feel like Gvardiol's definitely gonna have to work to get back in this team. We went from a position of struggling defensively a little bit with options, and now we've got an abundance of talent in that back line. And I think you could make an argument for every single one of those four players to start in that back two.
I mean, listen. It's a great place to be, by the way. These are the type of, and I think it will be one of those ones where you're probably gonna, first and foremost, we have to remember injuries happen. Every season, injuries happen. We know that, especially to defenders at Manchester City. So it's right. But if they are fully fit, I do think it probably is a point where Vardiol, Gahey, Kuznov, Diaz all have to rotate, and O'Reilly probably all have to rotate a bit.
Do you think Diaz is going to be there next year? Do you think they're going to bring Riyad
Yeah,
back?
Diaz has just got a new contract, and he's on what?
Oh yeah, he's staying.
Oh, Louis, shout out Louis. I think his battery's gone. He might be back. I think you've got to remember, Diaz has signed a contract. He's one of our highest paid players. And yeah, he ain't going nowhere. Bro, his missus lives in England. I can't see Diaz at very, very least. There's no way we're losing Rodri potentially. Bernardo definitely. Kovacic maybe.
Stones definitely.
Ake
Nathan
maybe.
Ake is a possibility.
Yeah, and Ruben Diaz. It's way too much experience. He's part of the leadership group. He's definitely going to be.
And don't forget too, Dabs, given the fact that
quick.
this squad is massive compared to where it has been in previous seasons.
Yeah.
Before we all get giddy about the transfer market, just remember we need to get a lot of players out before we get anybody in.
Yeah,
We need to clear out. We need to get back to those trim numbers like we had, coming out of COVID. 23, 24 players. Because I believe right now we're at about 27 or 28. It's a lot of salary to get off the books, and also too, it just probably a lot more happier faces. Probably being able to play a bit more minutes every season as well.
Yeah, about a month
Go on,
ago,
Todd.
Daps, about a month ago, if you'd have asked me, I'd have said if Diaz is fit for, he is in that 11
Same.
because you want that leadership, that captain role in. But the two lads now, Gahey and Kushnov, are playing so well, you can't drop
It's
them.
changed.
Diaz is my favourite, but it's changed now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't
facts.
care.
I think it's spot on, mate.
Anyone's
Absolutely
back.
spot on.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
Gay-
you're absolutely spot on.
Don't forget, Gay was a captain at Crystal Palace, so he's a leader.
Yeah, he's so true, but he's nowhere near captain material. He might be, in a couple of years. I can't see it though. I personally feel there's the difference that Gahey at Crystal Palace, one thing. At City, he's not going to be. I can't see it. Can't see it for a while. I'm not saying never. Definitely not saying never. I think the player's quality, but I don't know. Now, the last player that I think we really, really need to. Nunes again, by the way, just doing Nunes. I actually think Nunes once or twice at the weekend again still showed that he's got a mistake in him. But overall, Nunes this season, one of our best players. And, when Nunes isn't there, we look like a different team. But
he's our third highest in terms of minutes played. He's just on 3,600 minutes for this season.
Bro, just look at the period we didn't have him. But we have to talk about the main man, the man that won us the game, the man that Steven Gerrard gave a round of applause and said take a bow to. And this is Steven Gerrard, who has scored absolute fucking bangers all season. And it was quite funny in the interview after the game when Gerrard congratulated him on the goal. Gonzalez had a bit of a nervous laugh, and it was almost like, I can't believe I've got this man congratulating me on a goal. But and let me just say, because you all know my eyesight's not great. When we scored the goal, I said to the guy next to me, "Who was it?" And he goes, "Nico." I thought he meant O'Reilly at first. I just presumed it was O'Reilly. But Gonzalez and Tone, you said it about Doku, right? That Doku's 23.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Gonzalez is 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget
24. No, he's 24.
He's 24, is he? A little bit older, but we do forget this. But I thought he had a good game. And as for that goal, fucking perfect. You can see, to be fair, they were sat too deep. No one came out to try and close him down. But what an absolute rocket. And after the game, Pep said in his interview that he needs to believe in himself more. And it was really interesting thing Pep said. He said he needs to believe in himself more. Sometimes some of the players need to just trust themselves in the final third and sometimes shoot a bit more. And I thought, coming from Pep, where everyone says that, this pass thing, that Pep is saying, look, if you've got... And I think that's something that we've missed. You go back to the previous seasons with Kevin De Bruyne, with Rodri. We had a lot of players that could... and do you know what? Even Kovacic has scored a fair few goals from outside of the area. That goal was the furthest distance from the goal that any Man City player has scored in this season.
Wow! It was a great strike. It was an unbelievable strike.
Yeah.
Now,
but to be fair to Nico Gonzalez, every time he's played this season, he's never let us down.
Agreed.
Never.
Yeah, but pretty much he's been pretty consistent with it.
His problem, Daps, is he's not Rodri. I'm not saying that's my problem. I'm saying that's how people look at it, and no one will. But I was in the stadium on Saturday, and I was with Martin, and as he lined up,
were you there?
shoot, yeah,
he was in the other end.
Yeah, and I turned to Martin and I said, he won't hit that because he'd been doing it all game.
Good angle.
Been old off. And then he literally went nuts when that went in.
Yeah. It was a great goal. And Pep even said that, look, we have to remember this season that there was a long period that Rodri was not playing. And you're spot on. Gonzalez came in and Gonzalez did a job, right? And in his first season, first real season, I don't think Gonzalez's season this season is worse than Rodri's first season. It's probably very similar, right?
Oh yeah, Rodri took time to bed in his first season. I feel like that is the case with a lot of City midfielders, that they have to adapt to the system. That's why I think we should give Reinders a little bit more time. But that's a different conversation. But don't you think though? That there is a difference though when Rodri's not in the side. Like I feel like against Southampton and the Burnley game, I feel like there was so much more chances for the opposition team when Rodri's not in the side. And I think we saw that earlier in the season as well. There was times where every single time the opposition was going forward, they were getting chances. We seem to be a lot more open when Rodri's not playing.
Yeah,
when Nico G is able to execute passes that can completely. Go through, basically take a complete midfield out of the equation. That's when you know he's playing at the level of Rodri.
Yeah, spot on. And it's not just that as well. I also do think, again, that the one thing with Rodri is I think Rodri's reading of the game is absolutely elite, right? Where at times Rodri just is in the right place. And you're like, how did he even know to move to that position?
He has a sixth sense for it.
Yeah. And I also do think that the one thing with Rodri that we really miss when Rodri isn't there is Rodri's speed at passing, right? That Rodri does not dwindle on the ball. Like you very rarely, Rodri, he knows how to receive the ball, turn very quickly, and it's almost like while he's turning, he's looking and the pass is off, right? That's it. Whereas sometimes with Gonzalez, it can take him a little, and I know there's been a lot of training, whether you see it on the pitch after a game. I think we saw it at the open training, that Pep is trying to teach what's his name, Gonzalez, the best position to be in to receive the ball and be able to start a counter straight away, right?
He's still young.
But he's still young and he's still, now I hope, my big hope with, because if we talk about Marmoush, I personally do think we need to move Marmoush on. I think that Marmoush is a player that I don't see where Marmoush fits in, right? Because ultimately, if he's not willing, because I don't think he's a winger, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to play two up top. If we were to play two up top, maybe it could work, but I don't think with the other players we have, that is it. So, and I do think that Marmoush needs regular game time. So I think Marmoush needs to be moved on.
Do you know what the problem is with Marmoush, and not just Marmoush, but anybody who quote unquote fills that sort of tag of back up to Haaland is it's probably no different than being like this when we're looking for the second choice keeper. It's very niche, and you've got to find that sort of sweet spot in between where the player's going to be happy with the minutes they receive, but also acknowledging that they're always going to be second. They're always going to be second choice pretty much week in, week out. It's a very, very difficult thing to sort of balance in that. And, for that reason, that's probably why a lot of those, second choice keepers or second choice strikers we get, they don't want to stay that long because they know sooner or later they're going to have to play. So for me, the only way you can sort of counter that is there's two different demographics of a footballer, in my opinion, that can sort of fit that sort of equation. They've either got to be fresh out of the academy, barely touching 18 or 20, let's say 20 years old, or they're well into their 30s, understand that the body can't play every 3 days, but they will jump in and play in a cup match when we need to rest or rotate.
I personally think now, and this is where, when we were trying to play, there's a period of a couple of games where we were trying to play Haaland, Marmoush, and Semenyo, right? And ultimately, it didn't work. And the mad thing is that it's like Haaland was then being told to, win flick-ons, right? Hold the ball up, playing Marmoush. Hold the ball up, playing Semenyo. There's no way we should play with Erling Haaland with him becoming the creator. Sorry, but listen, he's done really well with assists this season. But in there, what we saw is Haaland laying the ball off to Marmoush and Marmoush not being clinical. And at that point, now I think with Semenyo, Semenyo is actually a good choice because I think. If Haaland was injured, I think we could play Semenyo in the 9 role, and I think Semenyo would do a good job, do a better job for me than Marmoush. Why? Because I think he's more clinical than Marmoush. Right? Let me be fair to Marmoush. I think Semenyo is more clinical than a Marmoush that is not playing every single game. That's probably the fair thing of saying that Marmoush needs to be in the game playing regularly. Now, the reason why I mention Marmoush is because I do think for me. Probably I can't see his role in this City side. And for that reason, thank you for, the way you've bullied Newcastle completely, right? You've absolutely fucking tore them a new one. You contributed significantly to the Carabao Cup and you contributed massively, massively, massively to getting us Champions League football last season because without Marmoush coming in and those goals, we wouldn't have got it. But I can't see there being a future for him at City. Now, that's where I look at Gonzalez and I wonder, is there a is there? And sorry, just to answer this one, who do an even better job than Marmoush or Semenyo at the 9? A natural striker. Yeah, but this is what we're saying, bro. Of course, but if we go out and buy a natural striker. While we've got Haaland, that natural striker then becomes a bench warmer, and then they become any striker that backs themselves, right? Is going to say, "Nah, I'm not going to a club and sitting on the bench." That's where I do agree that it needs to be someone that can play another position to a good level. And
I'll put a recommendation in for you, Dabs. I'll put a recommendation in for you, and I'll say it because he did actually turn up and perform pretty well when we needed him in the cup matches, and that was Divi Makasa.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we were so blessed with Seko for a period of time.
He still was playing some very, very good football. He's fresh out of the academy. He'll know his position in the pecking order in the squad. Why not give him a go?
Yeah, I agree with you. It has to be.
And if that quota becomes an issue, he fills it.
Yeah. I think if it wasn't for, as a Rodri replacement, as an example, I think that if we didn't have a history of injuries, and by the way, the history of injuries goes back from before we signed him. We knew about his injuries, but he was that good that we signed him because it was worth a punt. But I think if he didn't have that history of injuries, I think Lavia would have been the perfect player to stay at City and become a natural Rodri kind of follow-on, right, and backup because he was young. But with Gonzalez, let me ask you this though: on Gonzalez, are you lot having gone, like, I really hope personally Gonzalez stays one more season. Does anyone think he goes in the summer? Tone, I'm going to ask you. Do you think Gonzalez goes in the summer? No, Gonzalez.
Oh, Gonzalez, sorry. Gonzalez, God, it's tricky. If Rodri extends, he's got to seriously look at his future here, I think, because he ain't going to play. I think Rodri will extend, so by that, I will say he probably will go. Yeah.
Tone, Pat, what do you reckon? Do you reckon Gonzalez stays or goes?
Is Nick? Do we know if Nico G's in the Spain squad, or have they even announced it yet?
I don't think he will be. He ain't been playing recently, has he?
Yeah.
Sadly.
Okay. But I was going to say maybe if he went to the World Cup and had a good performance, that might bring more other teams in, might show an interest. But I'll probably agree with Tone slightly. I think I just think there's no way in for him because Rodri, if he does extend, has still got a few more years of being at the top number 6, and I couldn't see any real other way in there really. Unless you went for like a midfielder that was even older than Rodri, who knew he could only play once every week or two. Like
Kovacic, I've heard Kovacic is likely to go in the summer as well. If Kovacic does go, then
let me ask you this question: If Rodri was to pack up, and he, let's say, went to Madrid, or we sold him on this season, Who would you want to have in there at the number 6 role for the first game of the season, next season?
Right. So I personally, just my take on Rodri is that I think that Rodri will stay. Right. I think that with Bernardo definitely going, I don't believe there's a world where I think the money we would want for Rodri, right, to sell him this summer with Bernardo going would have to be very high, right? It's not going to be, because he's got 1 year left, we'll accept 40 million. I think City will still be going, nah. 40 million over 1 season without Bernardo Silva, we'll keep him and let him go on a free. I'm of the opinion that I think Rodri goes on a free next summer. Okay. But I think
so if he's at the door, whether it's this summer or next summer, who would you want to come in?
I want Anderson, but I don't want Anderson at 125 million. Sorry. Fuck off Marinakos, right?
They won't be paying that.
Yeah, but that apparently that's what he's asked for. Not for me.
I'm just not too sure about this whole. I'm just not sure about this whole natural age trying to move him into 6 roles. Like for me, if Rodri went the first day of the transfer window, by the start of the season, I probably went some João Neves in there.
Yeah, I think if you look at,
for me, who I feel would be most likely to pick up the Rodri role as quickly as possible and move on with it straight away.
Well, the thing is, I think one thing that we definitely won't do is make the wrong I don't want to say that because we have made the wrong decision with some, but you look at when we went in for Jorginho and Jorginho ended up going Chelsea, and we got rumoured at that point of buying a couple of players, and Pep said, now we'll wait until the right player comes. We waited a season, then we got Rodri. Now, if Rodri does go, is anyone here saying, do you know what, Nico G, give him a second-ish season at City and give him further a chance? I personally don't think O'Reilly in the 6 works. I think O'Reilly in the 8 role works. I don't think O'Reilly in the 6 role works. So I don't think O'Reilly can do it.
Can I say something? Say something? All this depends on one person, whether he stays or he goes.
Well,
the manager.
What, this summer? Yeah. I don't know if anyone heard, but Pep, again, in his post-match interview, he said something along the lines of, let's do this, let's win all of these together. We've got 5 games to go. Then we have a summer to relax, and then we're back at it next season. Now, Pep Guardiola said, we are back at it next season, right? Not Man City.
You hear what I'm saying, though, because if he goes, players that want to come to City want to know that he's going to be there.
Yeah, of course.
It's a fact.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because
if he's not there, and we have Maresca. I know you say this week on
No, forget
Maresca.
that.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not having anyone come on here and talk about Maresca being our manager.
Is there a world where... Could there be a world where Chelsea finish outside of, the European places?
Yes, there's a big world, massive world, huge world.
That we have a look at Caicedo. Nah. That's what I'm saying. But if we're looking at Anderson for 125 mil,
20 million.
Look, I hear you. 125 mil. Would I rather Caicedo or Anderson? Is really, I don't know,
125 million. 125 million for Anderson. You've got some fucking joke.
But I bet Mr. Marinakos, for 125 million, I expect you personally to also be coming with Anderson and making every City player gyros every day of training. Right? You personally for 125 million.
Well, there goes the 10% body fat then, or whatever their requirements are.
Actually, Chucky will move up to
Chucky be lapping now. He'd love that.
I'll tell you what, the food trucks outside the ground would be good.
The other one that we've been linked with as well. I don't know.
Cheese going on.
Don't know if you've seen this, but we've been being linked with Enzo Fernandez.
As well. Oh, don't even get me started.
Right. But can I just say, and this is coming from somebody that has had so much slander for Enzo Fernandez, right? He's a player that I don't like, yeah? I generally do not like him as a human being. But
look at the way he's treated his ex-manager and what he's been saying.
Oh, look at not just that. Look about his racism. He's a racist prick.
Mate,
I don't want
kind of stuff he's come out and said.
But when you look at his numbers and his contribution for Chelsea on the pitch, now I'm going with I don't like him and I don't want a racist at my club, so drop me out with Enzo Fernandez. But I think Enzo Fernandez, I just don't think like. If Enzo Fernandez was to be bought, he's being bought as a Bernardo Silva replacement, 100%, right?
Yeah.
We're still looking at the Rodri replacement. Yeah, Andrew, you're spot on. Don't care about his ability. Want good people. You're spot on, bro. But I think Enzo, as in profile-wise, for a Bernardo Silva replacement, I don't think we're too far away with that. I think the profile of player is about right because, Enzo will contribute with goals, which is something maybe Bernardo's dropped off with a little bit, although probably...
I wouldn't say dropped off. He's never really done more than about 5
you're
goals,
right.
5 to 10 assists a season.
Maybe like replacing the kind of Gundogan kind of...
Yeah,
Gundogan
yeah,
was
maybe.
more of a goal scorer.
You don't replace, you change. Yeah.
His agent is playing the game, I think, with this one. I do not see City touching him at all.
Mate, I think he's a little rodent. I don't understand why Pep would go for him. I feel like he isn't a kind of Pep kind of profile of person.
Well, listen, it's not.
I think he's a little rat.
I'm going to get kicked off here now, but if Maresca comes, then Enzo's coming.
Miss me with that.
Nah, bro. Listen, Alan, I'm not going to kick you off.
Double Enzo would be crazy.
I hear what he's saying though. That if Enzo was to come, look, there's the stats by the way. Enzo has 21 GA this season. Anderson has 5. So look, Enzo is a contributor. Like I said, I don't want him at my club. However, I understand that. If you're looking at an 8, which Bernardo Silva ultimately is an 8, right, then you've got to take in these things as consideration. Can I just ask you, lot?
How much does GA matter, though?
A lot, bro.
But does it, though? Because Bernardo Silva's not got loads of GA. All right. Rodri wouldn't have loads of GA.
Hold on, bro. but the reason is, when you're talking about wingers that haven't got the greatest GA, right, you get a 6 that hasn't got great GA, you need to get some goals and assists somewhere, right? We haven't got De Bruyne no more. 100% over the last couple of years, our contributions have dropped. So we do need some players that contribute. And if that comes in form of 8.
Turkey, I feel like the wingers can contribute now. Semenyo with the goals. Haaland, I feel like I don't think we need to directly be looking at GA. I think more importantly,
no, of course, it's never direct, but it is both.
Let me just finish what I'm saying though. I feel like if you're replacing someone like Bernardo Silva or Rodri, I think the first thing you have to look at is how good they're going to be in the system. Right. How good of a cog are they going to be for this machine? I feel like
let me ask you a question.
The second thing you look at.
So if you're saying, because by the way, I'm never saying GA and only go off of GA, right? We have eyes and it needs to be a bit of everything. However, I'm just going to ask you a question now, Louis. What is the difference between Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Yaya Toure, and Declan Rice? Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, the other lads got goals.
There we go. Massive difference, right? And that's where you're looking at. An 8 should be able to do the core jobs of an 8, 100%, right?
Yeah, but if we're looking at Elliot Anderson as a 6
hold on, bro, hold on. But,
sorry.
Yeah, but we're talking about a Bernardo replacement. We're not talking about a Rodri replacement now. If you can get, so I'm not saying if you can get an 8 that does an 8 role as a job really, really well, of course that's important. But if you can get an 8 that does those jobs well and also contributes goals, Gundogan as an example as well, is another great example, right? Then you want that. And that's the thing, when you do look at Enzo, he does bring those numbers. Right, we're going to wrap up now. 170 people in here, first show back. Great panel as well. Absolute mint panel. I feel like we've got one of our goated panels on the first show back. So, and we're going to be back tonight with another panel show with a lot of new faces. And any of you guys are welcome to join it as well. We'll speak afterwards. But I just want to end the show today, and please make sure you're smashing the like button by asking you all so far, right now, and things are going to change. By the end of the season, it will probably be a different answer. But I'm going to ask you all, and we'll go around in a circle. Pat, what is the most pivotal moment of this season for you? One moment. And the rest of you have a think while Pat's thinking.
Haaland's penalty at Anfield.
Haaland's penalty at Anfield.
Because that's set the tone for where we are now.
Okay, you're close to mine. Tone, what's your most pivotal moment of the
I
season?
may have yours here, mate. I'm going
we're fucking locked in. Go on.
Donnarumma save at Anfield.
Nope.
Yeah.
But again, same game, different moment. Alan. Yeah, Dejin, we're spot on. Alan. Don't you dare say Doku moment as well, by the way. You're not allowed to.
Oh.
I'm going to.
Go on.
I would have said the two signings in January, to be honest with you.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And Louis?
I don't want to be boring, but I'm going to have to second Alan's shout on that. I think if we don't sign those two players in January, I think that completely changed the trajectory of the season.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's interesting because I'm with you guys, the Liverpool game, right? This is spot on. However, there's a comment that was just made that was even more spot on. This right here.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps thinking about it. I'm sorry, and it's the fact that it came from Bernardo Silva and the fact that other players wanted to celebrate, and he knew, no, the job is not done at 1-1. A draw is not good enough. The fact that man knew was so locked in from that fucking moment. No, we're not here to fucking draw a game and say we drew at Anfield. I've been there. I've done that. I'm here to win this game. I'm here to win a league. And this is a thing I think, with Bernie. I said this on LB's show the other day, we've seen so many of our legends become captain in their last season and win the league. And there's no way that Bernardo Silva is not being one of them. He's not leaving saying, I was captain, but we didn't win the league that season. That man is trying to show as many armpits as captain as possible. And that moment for me, when he picked up the ball and said, the job is not done, and ran it straight back to the halfway line, that set a tone for the rest of the team that, nah, we're not settling with a draw in. We're fucking winning this game. That moment was special for me.
And you know, another thing too, come to think of it, is if anybody wants a way to sum up the difference between a club like Manchester City and a club like Arsenal, when we scored a goal like that at Anfield, Bernardo Silva picks up the ball straight to the halfway line. Let's go and get this result. You rewind back a few months ago when we played at the Emirates, and Zubimendi scores in the 91st minute to make it 1-1. What does he do? He runs off with his teammates and they celebrate the goal for 3.5 minutes.
Yep, spot on. And if Arsenal would have won that game...
If you're that serious about winning a league title after you bottled it 3 years in a row, what should you be doing from game one? Picking up that ball, going back and trying to get the win.
Yeah, and you know what it does as well, though, and this is so important. This is how Manchester City continue to. And let's be real. Listen, last season, I understand, right? Last season, worst season we've had for I don't know how many years. We came third. We got to a final, to be fair, but it wasn't a great season. But we're now back, and we're in a position where we might end up doing a domestic treble, right? There is and like Pep said, even if we don't, we're there. All you can ever ask. Let me land, please. 1 sec. Right. One thing that Pep said, and this has been being said from the moment one, when people used to say, "Oh, Pep's been brought in and he must win a league, or the owners will he must win the Champions League, or the owners will get rid of him." No, our owners have been consistent with the message. We must be there at the end of the season in as many competitions as possible. You cannot say we must win it every season, but we must be there. We must, right? To be a dominant team, you must be there. And that is where we are now. The key to us being a dominant team is that the players that have been there, done it, wore the T-shirt, passed the message on to the next group of players. And by Bernardo Silva picking up that ball, running back to the halfway line and putting the ball down and saying, no, we need another one, there would have been some players on the pitch thinking, maybe Kuzanov, maybe Cherky, some younger players going, what? Nah, we've just fucking equalised against Liverpool. He's like, nah, that's not enough. And straight away, they get the message now. Winning leagues and trophies is what fucking counts. I think that moment was so special for me, man. Go on, Al, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, did anyone just watch Bernardo when we scored the winner on Sunday when Nico scored that worldie, and just watch Bernardo? Nobody else, just watch Bernardo.
I watched him. Bro,
mate, I love this guy. So.
Bro, even against Arsenal, when we scored against Arsenal, the first goal. Straight away, we started celebrating. Bernardo Silva was into team talk mode and was saying, the one thing he forgot to do was run back and tell the fucking goalkeeper, right? Because straight away, he was going to everyone, calm down. And that's the thing, when you score a goal, you don't have to score a second instantly. Calm down for 5-10 minutes and let's fucking, he forgot, in future, you call Donnarumma over and you tell him, mate, go long for the next 10 minutes. Yeah, go long for people, by the way. If you've been wondering, don't worry. In the next couple of days or weeks, Alan and I will have a conversation about James Trafford and Donnarumma, but not today. Not today. You'll say that for another day.
He's been in my messages, Daps. He's been in my bloody messages.
Oh, bro, he's in everyone's messages.
He's been in everybody's messages.
Just tee it up for a few weeks' time, right? Honestly. Just tee it up for a few weeks' time when he's out the door.
Yeah. But no, people, really appreciate you all being here. Really appreciate everyone that stayed in for 1 hour 47. It's a long show, but we had a lot to talk about. We are going to be back at 9 p.m. tonight. A few people that may be watching this, Kai, a few others, I'm going to be dropping you a message very shortly to see if you're available. And until 9 p.m, I hope everyone has a good day. Please smash a like on the way out. And if you could, it would be great if you would hang around and drop an actual comment on the video. Let's ask a question. Are we winning the league? Yes or no? And put in the actual not the comments, the live comments in the actual video. Are we winning it, boys?
You got backwards too. Now.
Yeah.
Imagine the sunburn over these bald Swede in a hot August day, though, Jay. Mate, I don't need to imagine it. I've felt it. I've stroked it. Drunkenly many times. So
hey everyone, this video is sponsored by OK Jersey, rated an impressive 4.5 stars on Trustpilot. Fans love them for high quality jerseys, great prices, and super fast delivery. They offer a huge selection of new season retro and even upcoming World Cup kits. Plus, here's a little bonus. Use code NAF at checkout to get 8% off your order. Don't wait. Go check them out and grab your favorite jersey today.